Let me ask you this: how excited were you, and what were your thoughts on when Giannis became part owner of the Brewers? I know they had the press conference a couple of days ago, and they kind of threw a little bit Brewers Twitter in a frenzy, thinking what could it be the reason why they were holding this midday last minute press conference. And I was thinking it had to do with COVID, maybe some more restrictions they were going to be placing on the team and fans and all that. But no, it turns out Giannis, he is now part owner of the Milwaukee Brewers. What are your thoughts on that?
Brew City Lounge world coming together, Francisco. The
That's right.
Bucks and the Brewers coming together. Real quick, what I thought the press conference was Ryan Braun related. I thought it was official retirement, which is still weird that hasn't happened. That's a whole nother conversation. But that's what I thought it was. And then you saw like an hour, maybe 30 minutes prior to the scheduled press conference, you saw John Heyman tweet out that that the Brewers and Giannis were in discussions. And then obviously it escalated into what's crazy is that if you heard Giannis talk at the press conference, their talks have gone all the way back to last May, which brings me to my thought that Giannis, for every national media pundit out there, for some of Bucks Twitter, especially fans of other teams, everybody said Giannis was leaving Milwaukee. Everybody said, oh, he's not going to sign back with the Bucks. He's out of Milwaukee. They got bounced in the second round of the Miami Heat. He doesn't want to be in a small market. He can grow his brand in a bigger, larger market. He wants to go to Miami and live on the beach. He wants to go to LA or New York or yada, yada, yada. Giannis was never going to leave Milwaukee. That is even before he signed that Supermax deal. That's just so amazing to me, man, to think like a superstar in the NBA, arguably the best player in the NBA. And you can make the argument that he's the best player. There's some people that will, come out and say it's LeBron and,
KD.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make that argument. That's fair. That's fine. I respect that. But if you're putting Giannis in that conversation, and then on the flip side, you're telling me he doesn't want to leave Milwaukee. In fact, not only does he not want to leave Milwaukee, he's going to buy part of the other franchise in Milwaukee. That's special, in my opinion. That's different. That's like when Aaron Rodgers bought a piece of the Bucks. Like, that's a superstar player in the state of Wisconsin buying into another franchise in the state of Wisconsin. In this case, the same city. It's special. It's special. He's the most genuine person. I've been reading his biography that Miran Fader wrote. She was a guest on the podcast as well. Just a phenomenal book from start to finish. From who he is right now, he hasn't changed since he was 10 years old. Like, it's the same kid, the same person that person was back in the day. It's amazing. I mean, it means a lot. It means a lot for Milwaukee. We get bullied a lot, and we have that small man syndrome, and I have it too on social media. I defend Milwaukee, maybe when it's not needed, or maybe I go over the top with certain things because we always get told that we don't have enough. You're not big enough. You're not a big enough city. You're not on a beach. You're not in a big, there's not big, tall skyscrapers surrounding where you live. And we get told that a lot. We get told small market. Look at the Brewers. I mean, $96 million payroll versus the Dodgers, 297. I mean, that's what we're going up against. And that's why we always are defending of our guys. To see a guy, not only a NBA superstar, NBA champion, but a global icon. You're talking about a guy that's noticed around the world, to say, I want to take a little bit of that Milwaukee Brewers team and I want to buy it because I believe in them. I like where they're doing. I like the course that they're going on, the road that they're traveling down. That means a lot, especially coming from a guy like him.
Yeah, and I like what you said about how this happened last year, and it was in talks, and it happens with every small market team. Whenever there's a superstar, they automatically assume that they want to go to a bigger market team. They want to build a brand because NBA, it's all about your brand. If you think about what LeBron's doing and KD's doing, and good for them. I mean, they're taking their talents and they're building something for themselves, but the fact that he is okay with just sticking where and you don't see that very often in basketball or in pro sports really in general, where a player says this is his team, this is where he's going to stay. And it's really cool for this city that, like you said, like we're not on the ocean, we don't have this big market feel, but he's okay with sticking here long term. And now post career, he's probably going to stay in Wisconsin for his lifetime. That's probably where he's going to raise his family, raise his kids. He's not going anywhere. He's now really tied financially to the city, and it just kind of shows you that you don't have to be these big market teams to really attract somebody and attract a talent like him. And like you said, he's probably arguably one of the top 3 talents. You can argue he's the best. You can argue however you want to do that, but the fact that he's sticking around and he's willing to commit his life to this city, I mean, I think it's great for the whole city. I think it's great for Wisconsin, just here in the Midwest, having somebody say, you know, this is where I'm going to lay roots. And I think that's so cool. I think it's great for the city.
Yeah, and you look at a guy that, you know, like you said, he could have went to those places, like, and nobody probably would have blamed him. You know,
I thought he was going to the Warriors.
No, he was never gonna go. Never gonna go there. Don't kid yourself, Francisco. Come on. He, you know, when he first came into Milwaukee, and this is kind of, social media was around, but it's not like it is now.
Yeah.
And in 2014, he said, "I'm never leaving Milwaukee." Like, he said those words. He goes, "I'll never leave Milwaukee." He goes, "Loyalty is in my DNA." And that's what he tweeted out. You know, those were 2 things that he tweeted out. And we were like, okay, he's a kid. At that time, he was 19 years old. He was just having
so many athletes say that too, though.
Yeah, he was just having his first smoothie, his first corn dog that he's ever had. You know, we were like, okay, you know, it'd be cool, but hey, we're used to it. In Milwaukee, that's usually what happens. Guys get good and they leave for bigger markets. To be honest with you, I didn't think Christian Yelich was going to stay here. I'd be lying to you if I told you I think he's going to stay here. And not only did he stay here, he took a pretty team-friendly deal, if you ask me. I mean, I think if he went anywhere else, he probably could have got a lot more money. That's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, you know, when you hear a guy say he wants to stay here, you hear a guy that, you know, says that this is where he wants to live, he wants to retire here, he wants to raise his family here, and he's going to bring a championship. And to see all of that, because in today's day and age with athletes, like, their word usually doesn't mean a whole lot. To see his word come to fruition and bring a championship to Milwaukee. Look, this city has not had a championship since 1971. That was a long time ago. I was definitely not alive. Nope. You were definitely not alive. Like, my parents were kids. Like, it was a long time ago. He brought a lot of happiness. And you heard in his press conference, he says the one thing he loves about Milwaukee, you know, doesn't matter what color you are, doesn't matter what your religion is, doesn't matter, you know, anything about your personal life. When there's out there at the Deer District, we're out there at American Family Field, we only care and love our teams. And it's different than some other places. Not saying that every other place is like that, but Wisconsin is different. I was in the Army for a long time, and I traveled around the world and the United States. And yes, I'm biased and homer. I say it all the time on my podcast.
All good.
But I'm telling you right now, Milwaukee is different. It's just different. You can walk across the street, walk into a gas station, and in Milwaukee, how you say hi to people is, how about that Brewer game? How about that Bucks game? Like, it's not like that everywhere. It's just not.
Yeah, I completely agree. And like I said, I'm from the big city, Oakland, born and raised, and the San Francisco Bay Area, and it's completely different there.
Yeah.
People, I mean, it's Midwest. People aren't as friendly in California as they are here in the Midwest. But
that's for sure.
Yeah, so that kind of threw me off. That's a whole nother topic. How when I moved here, how friendly everybody was, and
it's almost weird. Like, yeah. I had a couple buddies. They came from I used to live in Colorado for a handful of years, and they came to visit me. And my buddy came, and he's like shaking his head, and I'm like, "Hey, like, what's going on?" He was like, "I just can't get over how everybody's so nice." And I'm like, "You get that a lot." You know, we're used to it. For us, it's normal. Like, you know, we just, you know, to us, it's second nature. You know, we don't think about it. But when you have other people come out from other states or cities, and they're appalled, they're like, "This is crazy. Like, I never realized this." And it's true though. You go anywhere in the Midwest outside of Chicago, and it's no pun, it's nothing to knock on Chicago.
Yeah.
But it's a bigger city. It's a bigger environment. It's a little bit different there. But for the most part, yeah, we're pretty easy going. And I think that's what Giannis likes, man. I think everybody thought he wanted a bigger market. I think he likes coming here. I think he likes walking into Pick and Save. I had a friend of one of my cousins. Giannis was in Pick and Save, 10 o'clock at night. This is Giannis. And he's asking the guy, my cousin's friend, about yogurt. Like, what yogurt's better than what he had in his hand, like comparing them. And he's just asking, like, he's the most normal superstar you'll ever see. He went to Chick-fil-A after winning a championship.
Yeah, and he Instagrammed it live, and then I think he asked for permission first.
He did. Yeah. He's different.
Yeah, what are the odds you see LeBron at a gas station in the middle of LA or Cleveland or wherever he was?
I know LeBron brought a championship to Cleveland, but I don't know if it probably is small market now. When he was there, it wasn't, but I don't know. You don't see a whole lot of superstars winning championships in a small market, Francisco, without a number 2 superstar. Now, Chris Middleton's great, and I know we're getting way off topic.
Yeah,
but he's not a superstar, and Giannis was the only fortified superstar type player on Milwaukee, and he brought a championship. And then I tweeted it out, and I said, "What a flex! The dude wins a championship and then buys a part of the Brewers." It's kind of hard to top that.
He might have 2 rings by the end of this year.
It's possible.
Yeah,
possible.
It's very possible because he's joining at a very good time for the Brewers.